Hi everyone, welcome back to today's video. For today we're going to be making this super fun little just friendship card, really spotlighting the Tropical Oasis Designer Series paper. So I am absolutely in love with this pattern. I am obsessed. Like literally there's nothing else I can say other than that I am obsessed. So I wanted to make a card today that really kind of spotlights and features the little cool cars on the paper. So that's what I came up with for today. So let's talk about what you are going to need for this. So first we are going to be using the Timeless Tropical stamp set. Now we're only going to be using this for this greeting here that says our friendship is timeless. I thought that that greeting fit perfectly with like the old school look of the cars. I just thought it went together perfectly. But as usual, if you have a different sentiment that you want to use, go ahead and use it because that's all we're going to be using from this stamp set. The stamp set and this paper do coordinate. They're part of one of these suites in the mini catalog right now. So they do go together, but you could absolutely use something else. We are going to be using Versamark today along with our white embossing powder. And then to get into the paper. So like I said, we're going to be using the Tropical Oasis Designer Series paper. This is just regular Designer Series paper, but is absolutely gorgeous. And the fun thing is that the two patterns that we're going to be using are actually on the same sheet. So you only need like maybe, it's like less than half a sheet of 12 by 12 paper to create this card, which I think is fantastic. So for your Designer Series paper, we have this little tiny strip here, and this is cut at 3/4 of an inch by 5 inches. And then we have the smaller of the two pieces. This is what we're going to be using. The side that we're going to be using is the cars. So what I would really say is find a piece that really stands out to you, that like the car, there are a nice little grouping of cars. I actually had a different one. I had this one that I was going to use earlier, and when I put the strip on here, I just felt like it wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. So I opted to cut another piece. That's just me being a little bit OCD and a little picky about it. But anyway, the piece that we're going to be using, that we're going to use for the card, or sorry, the side with the cars, this one is cut at 5 inches by 3 3/4. And then the other piece, which we're going to be using, the brown textured side, is cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then for our card base today, we're going to be using Old Olive, and this is cut at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, because it's really the only thing to truly put this card together, is to emboss our little tiny strip here. So this is where we're going to put our sentiment. Again, I'm using the sentiment from the Timeless Tropical set that says our friendship is timeless. So all I'm going to do is take my stamp, I'm going to ink it up in my Versamark. I just re-inked my Versamark pad, so it's nice and juicy and it makes it super easy to stamp. And I'm just going to stamp this about as in the middle as I can. Put that off to the side, close up my Versamark, slide that off to the side. I'm going to grab, this is just a regular piece of plain copy paper, and I've folded it in half. I'm now going to take my white embossing powder. I'm going to carefully pick this up, and I'm just going to drizzle some of the embossing powder on here. And then you really want to tap it off to make sure you get as much of the excess embossing powder off as possible. So now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to take my folded piece of paper and just use it as a funnel to put all of that spare embossing powder back into the container. And I'm telling you, you guys, this embossing powder goes such a long way. So you can see how much is in this container, right? I think I purchased this when I first joined as a demonstrator the first go around. So I have probably had this little container of white embossing powder for, oh geez, at least 4 years, maybe even longer than that, because I became a demonstrator before I got married. So yeah, at least 4 years that I have had this little container, and I use it. It's not like I mean, I don't use it a ton. I don't use it in every project, right? But my point is a little bit of embossing powder goes a long way. So if you're looking, if you're kind of on a budget and looking to see like what makes the most sense, what's the most cost effective, obviously regular stamp pads are kind of the same thing. They'll take you a long way. But when you want to kind of zhuzh something up and give it a little bit of a fancier look, Versamark to get your ink and some embossing powder is totally worth it because it goes a super duper long way. So now I'm just going to grab my little tweezers here, and I'm actually going to look to see if there's any stray embossing powder, and I think there is a little bit. Let me grab my little paintbrush over here. And I think I got this from maybe even like a makeup kit. I don't truly remember, but I've had it for a while. And this it lives with my embossing powders. And I just use it to kind of clean up wherever I see some stray embossing powder. I'm not too fussy about it, but if you see some, you might as well remove it. It's kind of my thought. So now I'm going to take my little tweezers here. I'm going to stick this in here because it's going to get a little toasty and I don't want to burn my fingers. And then I'm just going to use my heat tool and heat set this. Perfect. So that was like the hardest part of making this card, you guys. Now it's just assembling everything. So I'm going to bring in all of my other paper. I'm going to put my card base to the side for just a second. Ooh, something is on my desk. I don't know what it is, but anywho. So I'm going to take the piece that we're using, the car print. I'm going to flip that over, take my snail, and get it all snailed up. And then I'm going to put this onto the other piece of Designer Series paper that's just a smidgen larger. There's that. Then I'm going to take the piece that we just embossed and I'm going to hit the edge. Wow. Man, I'm making a mess today. I'm going to hit the ends first, just to make sure that they stick down really nicely. And then I'm just going to put one big strip down the middle. And then I'm positioning this towards the bottom of the card. I just like that placement, but you could put it in the middle depending on the print that you have in your paper. You could kind of position it anywhere to make it look the best with whatever piece of the print that you have, but play around with it. I really like it kind of at the bottom down here, but again, it's up to you. And then all we have to do is now flip this over. Put some snail on the back of this, and then stick it down on our card base like so. We're gonna fold this bad boy in half, grab my bone folder, and there's our card for today. So I really hope you guys enjoy this one. I love this card so much, and this is totally not my style. This isn't like, I'm not always into like super dark colors. I've personally tend to lean more towards the lighter colors and the brighter colors, but I just absolutely love this card. I am obsessed. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, you can find all of the products that I used. You can purchase them also. Fun fact. I don't know. It's like almost 1 o'clock when I'm filming this today. So it's been a little bit of a crazy day. Anyway, you can find all of the products that I used today by going to littlemooncreation.stampinup.net. You can also go to littlemooncreation.com or click the coordinating blog post in the description below, and that'll take you to my website where you can find a little bit more about all of the products, a little bit more about what I have to say about the card, and some other really, really fun stuff in my website in general. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!